There's the sound. The water cooler is upon us. It is time to discuss this week's episode of Moon Knight, which is on Disney Plus. It's the new Marvel series, and I've been pretty pumped about this. Seve's got no idea what's going on at Moon Knight, so I don't know. Are you any more clear after the first episode, man?
No. No.
Did I tell you to expect that?
Yeah, but I expected better. I think me and you are going to differ a lot on this episode.
We might, yeah. But I think that comes down to CG more than anything else, right?
That was my biggest thing. That was garbage. Yeah. Marvel's dropped the ball massively on that.
Yeah. Look.
Massively.
I'm going to get out in front of this just quickly and say, we know that Marvel has gone back and edited a bunch of stuff that's in the Disney streaming right now. They've changed Falcon and Winter Soldier to make it less bloody, taken out. Like there's that scene where...
So in saying that, how long until they do it to Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage?
Well, no, this is...
They're doing it to their softer shows.
No. See, this is what I think they're actually doing. I think they're putting a version that, younger kids can still watch on their main side of things. And then if you have like the MA, I reckon they'll have the other version on there. I think they're going to change the ratings to... And honestly, I think it's also that kids buy toys of the Falcon cap. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that's what they're trying to hit here because they want to make sure kids go and see Cap. But what I'm saying is that if you can go back after something's been released a year ago or less than a year ago, and the way they've edited it, it looks like it was shot that way. Just fix these episodes before they drop now.
Yeah.
You've got a week till the second episode of Moon Knight drops. If your stunt guy looks like a noodle floating into the back of a van, just fix it right now.
I don't even know if it was a stunt. The whole thing was just horrendously bad.
That looked like
that whole car chase sequence, everything from the greenery on just the side of the road to the vehicles not being the right shade to the trees falling down the hill. It was like, what have you guys done?
Yeah, there's some brutal stuff.
What have you done?
Look, I think that's where you and I differ, though, because I'm focusing on the character.
And the dog?
The jackal?
The jackal?
I liked the jackal.
He was a bit off.
I thought he was alright. I liked the glowing eyes in the background.
Yeah.
I liked...
That was cool.
The way... is it Mohammed Diab, the director? I think it is. Shot from the jackal's point of view of stalking his prey.
Yeah.
Because the first shot... And I do want to talk about that. I loved some of the shots in this show with the reflections. There's one where he's talking to the
golden guy at the pond.
So the credits call that guy Crawley. And Crawley's actually a big character in Moon Knight. He's a homeless guy who lives on the streets and ends up being like kind of informant for Mark Spector.
Yep.
So it's cool to have a little nod of him there. But yeah, when he's talking to him and it goes from the puddle and kind of goes up and you're like, oh, okay, we're looking at the reflection there. But then it turns out what it was panning up to is the reflection because the leaf drops into it and it pans up further.
Yeah, it was already flipped.
It was like a reflection inside a reflection and a reflection. I'm like, oh, I love this. Like, just some really interesting shots. And that's the stuff I love.
Yeah.
Like, you can shoot stuff just simply or especially when it's Moon Knight. Just go off the wall with it. So that kind of stuff I love. The anytime we saw his reflection do something different. Like
that was cool.
I'm a sucker for that stuff. Like I think one of the big ones was so before he goes into the obviously we're talking spoilers here, guys, sorry. Before he goes
well, no, if you're listening to this episode you should know that.
Before he goes into the bathroom to have Mark Spector kind of confront him.
Mark take over.
Yeah. He's walking through the actual museum being stalked by the jackal.
Yeah.
And he stops when he thinks he hears a sound, but then keeps walking forward. But his reflection, so Mark, stay there, but look back to where the sound was.
Yeah, keep sussing it out.
So Mark sees the jackal and is like, he's right freaking there. Because he sees him move. You see him track him as the jackal goes by to keep following Stephen.
Yeah.
That stuff I love. But even the first moment you see Mark, where he like opens that bathroom and Mark's shaking his head at him, being like, stop what you're doing kind of thing. It's like, that's the stuff where I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Like that's the stuff that the comic couldn't do as well.
Yeah.
The comic had to have other ways to show that this stuff was happening.
Yep.
Seeing that in live action is what got me excited. Because that's the stuff that your mind, when you're reading a comic, kind of fills in the blanks with. You know? Like, actually having it done there, I was like, yes, I'm fully on board. And I just got to jump out and say this. I had Oscar Isaac fan cast years ago as Wolverine. I was like, he'd be an amazing Wolverine. I'd love to see it.
Yes, you did.
And then he got cast as Moon Knight, and I was like, oh, well, perfect. Like, I'll fucking take that for sure. Shouldn't have.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, definitely. Seeing him now do the different accents for the characters.
How many people are in there?
In his head?
Yes.
There's been about 5 from memory.
So there's Stephen, Mark. Well, Mark's a real one.
Mark's usually.
And you got Stephen in there as well.
Stephen's in there.
You got Moon Knight in there as well. You got Mr. Knight in there as well.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Jack. There's one more who's like a I think he's a Hollywood stunt guy.
Oh.
Or something? Yeah. So he's in there as well. I'm not sure if it's because of this reasoning, but usually Mark is the main personality. He's the one that gets contacted by Khonshu. So Khonshu is they never actually named him in this, but he's the bird face kind of skull creature that keeps.
Yeah.
So he's the your main.
Who was voiced by F. Murray Abraham, by the way.
How great was that voice?
He's awesome.
I love that. Was it the first line he has where he's like, "Oh, the idiot's back."
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
That was good.
So good.
Oh, he's back again.
Yeah, in the comics, this was really cool because in the comics, whenever Khonshu speaks to Moon Knight, it's done in a reverse font where the actual bubble is black and the writing's white.
Oh.
Right, so you see this disembodied voice talking to him. They kind of do the same thing when Venom talks to Eddie Brock.
Yeah, yep.
In the comics, you know?
So you can differentiate who's talking.
Yeah, you know, he's being spoken to instead of it actually coming from him or it being a thought in his head.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So yeah, I just love that. It's one of my favorite things about Moon Knight's character. It's that Khonshu has these missions in the world that he's trying to achieve, and he's chosen Mark as his kind of avatar to go and do these things. You know, I loved that too. Avatar, yeah, the blue guys, yeah. No, not that. Oh, yeah, no, the anime, the anime. That was fantastic. Yeah. But along with Mark, he's gotten all these other personalities he didn't really account for. It was like, oh, I chose a mentally unstable one. Brilliant. Which obviously they say in the comics, they might go into detail here, is that he always had that psychological imbalance or dissociative disorder, but by Khonshu kind of infusing him with that power, it enhanced it.
Yeah.
So it's gone to the next level, essentially.
I'll tell you one scene I did like out of it is when they're in the square and he makes him what's his name? Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Makes them all kneel and it's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
They quickly kneels. And he's just like, get up.
What do you think of Ethan
I've
Hawke?
seen
here?
you. Bit strange.
Yeah.
And I usually love Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very good actor.
So
There was just bits in this that were a bit, I don't know, he wasn't right.
one of the things that excites me about a character is when an actor takes an absolute personal just hold of that character. You get it with, it's what made, I think, Deadpool fantastic. It's that Ryan Reynolds said, no, this is my character. We're doing it like this.
Well, have you heard how he got this role?
Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke?
No.
He was doing a movie with Muhammad Diab, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting ready to shoot and all this. And Muhammad comes to Ethan and goes, look, I'm pulling out. Marvel's offered me something. So I've sort of got to take that.
Mm.
And Ethan's like, yeah, no, definitely, 100%. You have to take that. That's top notch. Don't worry about this, because they were doing like some smaller movie.
Like indie thing, yeah.
And Ethan didn't think much of it. He's at a coffee shop during COVID, so they've all got to stand out in the cold and that with masks on, waiting for their coffees. And Oscar Isaac goes to him, sees him in line, and goes, look, do you want to come and play on this show that I'm doing for Marvel? Not realising it was the same thing that Muhammad had left previously to come and play on.
That is
so
awesome.
it was like a full circle moment. They ended up doing something together.
That's really cool.
Ethan Hawke really wanted to work with Muhammad
Yeah.
because he's a big fan of him, and then missed out. But then it turns out Oscar came to him and goes, look, I've got this role. Do you want to do it? And he looked into it and goes, yeah, and then found out, rocked up, and it was Muhammad.
Well, that actually
doing
makes
it as
a
well.
lot more sense. They had this previous relationship because the amount of input that apparently Muhammad has given Ethan Hawke is incredible, because the character of Arthur Harrow in the comics is nothing like what we're seeing right now.
I was going to say, he's not the same, is he?
No. So in the comic...
We're not seeing that character, I don't think.
We're not, no. In the comic, he was just this
Mephisto confirmed.
one-off character. There was just like a one-off villain that Moon Knight went to stop because he was a scientist or a doctor who had found experiments that Nazis were doing during Auschwitz.
Well, this is definitely not him, is it?
No. And
this guy has powers.
he'd found those experiments and then thought they were on the right track and started replicating them.
Oh.
And then, like, Moon Knight was like, I've got to stop you, kind of thing. Definitely not him.
This guy has moving scales of justice on his arm.
Well, they're not his powers. He's a conduit for Amit.
Mephisto.
Amit. Who
We're getting Mephisto.
we're not getting Mephisto. We are definitely not getting Mephisto because
He's confirmed. You heard it here first. He's confirmed.
Well, Mephisto is based on the Christian religions,
Yeah.
you know? Whereas
Which is also based on older books as well, so who's to say?
well, we're getting Amit here. And Amit is the judgment god, essentially. He's the one who, I think they mentioned it in this, where they said he weighs your heart versus your...
To see whether to tell you basically what door you're going through.
Yeah, so it was...
You're either going to the
they're weighing your soul,
good
essentially,
side.
but your soul is in your heart in Egyptian culture, and it can't weigh more than a feather. Because it weighs more than a feather, you've done horrible things.
I'm just going to say, a lot of people... These guys aren't great scientists.
Yeah.
Because you take the heart out, everyone's heart weighs more than a feather.
Yeah, pretty much.
How many people got condemned for no reason?
Well, it's metaphysical, man. That's what we have to get at here.
Oh no.
Anyway, so I did love the way they did the judgment with the swing.
Are we going to get to see Anubis?
We might. Anubis
Because that'd be cool. The god of the dead.
Yeah. So Anubis plays a part with Amit because he actually brings them to Amit to be judged.
I thought it'd be the other way.
No.
I thought you would get judged and then Anubis would take you to where you need to go.
No, it was that you
So
die.
you pay your toll and you.
Anubis takes you
Oh no, because you pay your toll to Anubis and then he takes you to the next step.
to be judged. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he helps with the judging, and I'm pretty sure in the Egyptian culture, a meat is literally just the dog you get fed to, kind of thing.
Oh right.
Whereas in the Marvel kind of cinematic universe, he's got more power than that. He does.
I would like to
does
see
the
a
judging.
live action Anubis. That would be cool.
Well, I think
We got a cool one in. What was that? What was that Egyptian movie with Gods of Egypt? I think it was called. With what's his name from Jamie Lannister?
Yeah.
I think was in it.
Yeah.
That was awesome, and that looked good. Their design looked wicked.
Well, I'm not sure if we're actually going to get the full. Like, we may get the gods in like human form or whatever, kind of like, the whole Council of Shazam.
So he's wearing a baseball cap with a dog head on it.
I don't know. But we do know from the one trailer I watched that I think it would be Mark goes to the Egyptian temple. So
I hope Anubis is there. That'll especially if he looks like he's supposed to, that'll win it for me.
well, it's already won it for me with Khonshu, because I love how they've done Khonshu. Like, he looks fantastic, especially with that real close up he got in the elevator, where you see all the details of the bone face, like all of that. Like, that was one of those things that I was just like, yes, I'm all for that. No, it's honestly, like, as much as I love Moon Knight and the story and all that kind of stuff, it's Oscar Isaac that sold this for me, because his performance of the different characters and his experience and what he's going through, it hooked me. I was like, yeah. I want to know. Like, it broke my heart when he was ordering that steak. He was like absolutely tuned out, just being like, yep, no, I just want the best bit of the steak. Yep. No,
He didn't know. He doesn't even know what steak. He doesn't even know what he's talking about because he's a vegan.
He's a vegan. Like, Mark's the dude who booked the steakhouse because he eats meat.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. It's just that look of the man who knows his life is out of his own control. He was. That is what you needed a good actor to do this.
Oh, for sure.
And
for sure.
Oscar Isaac is right there. I never felt that his accents were too much. They're jarring to hear opposite each other, but they should be.
A few English people have taken to social media about his English accent.
Oh, they always will, man.
They're not happy. But I mean, it's like if someone does it. It's what me and this were talking about. It's basically the same as if someone does an Aussie accent, we'll pick it apart.
Yeah, of course.
We'll be like, it's not real.
Yeah.
But to anyone else in the world, that's a good Aussie accent.
Yeah.
But to Australians, like, that's terrible.
Oh, man, I was
Don't
fine
do
with
that.
it. Absolutely fine with it.
We're not English. We don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. But I thought his American was pretty good too. Like, because that's
Well,
not
he's
Oscar
American.
Isaac's natural voice. He's like Americaned it up a bit. You know what I mean?
Throwing a bit of Texas in there.
I don't know. He's done something to make it more I'm a mercenary
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean?
America.
Yeah. Like giving it a real, like, I sleep with my guns feel to it.
Texas.
Yeah, pretty much. I drive a pickup, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm as American
That-
as American can get.
That scene where you first see them talk to each other in the bathroom, like, that's what fully hooked me, because that's, like I said, that's not what we get in the comics. Like, having the flashes, the Egyptian, like, hieroglyphs kind of appearing on the back wall, flashing in and out while he's trying to make his decision of, can I let this guy take over?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That was cool. I did like that.
While this dog's beating down the door to come in, and you've got,
I'm like, Moon Knight's coming.
you've got Steven in the reflection pointing at the door, but his door in the reflection, not that door, and just running there and be like, it's coming, man.
Yeah.
Make a decision. Like, that was cool.
That dog's coming in whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And then the dog tried to get out.
But I mean, even if Steven didn't let Moon Knight take over, he would have taken over anyway.
Yeah, but it would have been.
It's like a Bruce Banner Hulk scenario.
Process.
Yeah, but it's a Bruce Banner Hulk scenario. You're not going to be able to kill him.
Well, that's
because he will take over.
Seeing the little flashes and stuff, it just gave me absolute Memento vibes, and I love that movie. I think it's fantastic. But seeing like the car chase scene that you didn't like, when he took over in that scene, he's suddenly holding a gun. He's driving backwards.
Yeah.
You know, like he's like, why?
Well, no, he comes to and he's driving forwards, and then Mark takes over again and he pops back up and he's going backwards. It's like, oh no.
And he just yells, why am I in reverse?
What happened?
I thought we'd gotten a bit more gore for a second than I was expecting to have until I realized it was the cupcake. You know, when the dude was like perched up against the back door?
Yep.
Afterwards, I was like, oh God, is that Brain? It's like, no, it's the cupcake. That's right.
How do you know?
Yeah.
No, seriously, how do you know? You're seeing what Steven sees.
Well, is
this the same sort of thing as Harley?
This is the crux, right?
Like she's seeing glitter and that, but really that's insides
Steven
of people.
Is not a reliable narrator because
just like Harley Quinn is not a reliable narrator.
Exactly right. But Steven is being so sheltered by Mark in that Mark is setting everything up for him. He's setting up.
Well, why doesn't Mark just stay there and just not let Steven out at all? Just leave him in there. Leave him locked up.
Because it's the battle of the personalities inside. As soon as Mark goes to sleep or anything like that, Steven takes over. So it's why
if they're both asleep, then
no, they don't. But this is the thing. Like that's why it's almost
does his
like
body just never sleep?
Well, that's why he says he's always tired. He woke up and he's like, I just feel like I just haven't slept. Is because
Mark's been out doing shit.
But that's the thing. But when Mark is not in control, Mark's technically sleeping. You know?
But the body is still awake.
Yeah. So that's like you wake up and you're tired.
It's the whole Bruce Wayne Batman thing. It's like, well, when do you sleep? If you're Bruce Wayne all day during the day, and you're Batman all night, when do you sleep?
Yeah.
When does your body shut down?
You don't. Vengeance doesn't sleep. This is another thing that I think they've done to try and avoid the Batman Bruce Wayne thing is that if they go on the way of the comics, and
I don't understand how people have gone, oh, he's basically Marvel's Batman.
It's because when he first came out
he's nothing like
in
Batman.
The comics, that was what people clung to.
But he's nothing like Batman.
No, he wasn't. But Mark Spector in the comic was like a rich playboy.
Oh, so he's Bruce Wayne.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So
you've got Egyptian powers.
Changed. Yeah.
Oh, Bruce don't have Egyptian powers. Bruce is just Bruce.
Right, everyone wears white. Come on, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like
the
one
other
likes
was
bats,
the
one
other was
likes
born in
moons.
the shadows. You know?
No,
adopted the shadows. Bane was born in the shadows.
That's right. You merely adopted it.
I love it. No, this is what I found interesting in this is that when I first started dropping, and we were going to get it week to week, I was a little worried, thinking that we weren't going to get enough to hook people in that first episode.
I think that might be what's happened.
It's happened to some people. Now, my missus watched this with me. I kind of forced her to. She didn't really. I'm not going to say she didn't want to, but she didn't care about it.
Yeah, she did want to.
You know?
You forced her out of her will.
I did, yeah. She's hooked and sat there talking about it for the next half hour after it finished. Like, just talking through where she thinks everything's going. She's not going to listen to this podcast. She's told me she wouldn't. Because she's not letting me go into detail of anything with her. She doesn't want to know anything, which is a great way to be.
So you're not spoiling anything for me?
Yeah. I was worried about, before doing this show, pronouncing some of the names and stuff, because it kind of dawns on me at these points that I've never heard a lot of these words said out loud.
Mate, I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners are used to you
just butchering
And names.
butchering names.
Just butchering names.
Yeah. But like Khonshu, I'd realized
Ethan
in my
Hawkey.
head, I'd never said the word out loud. Like I've been reading about
That's where
Khonshu
Google is your friend.
for years, obviously, and
Symbiote.
only ever like read the words. No, it's symbiote. Sorry, no symbiote.
Symbiote.
Sorry, Sony. It's just one more thing you got wrong, Sony. It's symbiote.
We're not attacking Sony yet. That's wait until the show. That's when we attack Sony.
Anyway, look, well, falling onto Sony, the visual effects did let this down a bit. I don't know what's happened. Or
I got no idea what's that. This is not Marvel level. It's not even Sony. As I said to you before we recorded, and I wasn't going to say it in the show, but I'm going to anyway. The CW do better CGI than this.
look, I think you've gone a bit far with that.
No, I haven't.
You definitely have. I sent you that video of that giant monster thing fighting them in the street. That looked like a cartoon.
I would rather watch cartoon Flash run up the side of a building than that car chase we saw in this.
Yeah, see, you got to get more invested in the characters, man.
That's how strong I feel
problem
about
there.
CGI. This is, and anyone who knows this show knows how much, one, I'm going to spot CGI fakes, and two, how much I hate the CW's CGI. Their budget for CGI is just crayons.
What's interesting is that we know that this was shot majority in Budapest, right? To the point where they've even used, I'm pretty sure the like the Budapest Museum as a stand-in for the.
Yeah, no, here you go. Oscar got asked how much time he spent in London filming this, like to do like pickups and stuff like that.
Yeah,
was never there.
Yeah.
Not once.
Everything
go to
we
London
see in London
at
has
all.
been done in Budapest and then just CG'd.
Yep.
For that. And
Yep, none of it was there.
and you think he's walked up those stairs to the history of.
But see, that's the thing. Now let's look at it this way, though. Oscar said he was never there. That doesn't mean second unit wasn't in London filming and just shot the back of a stunt double's head walking up the stairs or whatever. You know what I mean? So some of it could have been filmed in London.
Well, the actual, like, I know for a fact that
But the museum was definitely in Budapest.
Yeah, the museum is from Budapest.
100%.
Yeah, and they've actually just changed the Hungarian writing to English. But yeah, it's look, I'm hooked, obviously. Like I said, I was worried about it not being enough to pick up casuals.
You know what I'm seeing here as well?
What's that?
For that episode, filming and production, I've just pulled up filming and production. None of it's filmed in Budapest.
No, that was.
It's got here Pinewood Studios in England, Atlanta, Georgia, and 38 Strand, London, England, for Khonshu sighting on bus. But Oscar Isaac said he didn't film in London at all, so how does that make sense? It can't be filmed at Pinewood Studios.
And he was in Budapest that entire time filming this.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta makes sense. If you're going to do pickups and that, you do it in Atlanta because...
I mean, we
that's
saw
where
the behind the
based.
scenes of him and Ethan Hawke, and Ethan Hawke was wearing exactly what he wore, and so was Oscar Isaac at that first episode in Budapest.
So when's Mark Ruffalo showing up?
I don't know, keen for it.
'Cause he's in it, isn't he?
Well, no, he may have just been there visiting, so we don't know.
Okay, because people have come out and said that Moon Knight is not MCU.
Okay, so
Have you heard that rumor as well?
so the director clarified that rumor, and he said that
I've missed that bit.
yeah, so he said that this story doesn't tie into the MCU.
Oh, but it is in the MCU.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's in the MCU.
I thought it might have been another Sony sort of...
No,
thing where
it's
they're
just
just gone
that like
separate
he's
ways
like,
or
and
something
he
like
said it, and what he said was brilliant. He goes, in the comics, you rarely see Moon Knight interacting with the wider MCU because his stories are very kind of self-contained. Like,
Yeah, they're solo. He doesn't need help.
yeah, so that's the way they've kind of approached this as well, which
Can you imagine if he's dealing with Egyptian problems like this and Iron Man shows up?
yeah.
Iron Man would be going, what the hell is going on here?
Also, who are you talking to?
Yeah, stop talking to yourself.
Also, who am I talking to?
Do you have a Jarvis?
Yeah. But yeah. So he's saying that and he goes, and that's not saying that he won't ever be part of the MCU.
Oh, he'll definitely cross over. I'm gonna say now our first spot of Blade will be in this towards the end.
Could be.
I reckon that's where they're gonna drop, because we've had the story come out that Blade's first appearance is not in a movie.
So
it's in a TV show.
I'm thinking the other way a little bit, and we know that Werewolf by Night's coming, and Blade in that would make sense to me, but Moon Knight in that would also make sense to me.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, is that when you talk about the wider MCU, we always think of.
So why would you not do a Mandalorian thing here? Have Blade show up in this, right? Then in what was the Werewolf
by Night.
By Night, you have Blade show up to help, and then go, hey, I know a guy, and he comes and gets Timothy Oliphant, who is Moon Knight. You know how Mando did it in Boba Fett? He's like, I know some guys, so I'll go get help.
This is
so you do the same thing.
See, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, Blade go fetch Moon Knight to help.
The other side of it is that when we think of the wider MCU, we always do think about Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, all these guys first, But Moon Knight rarely goes down that thing. If he's in there, he's interacting with Doctor Strange, or Ghost Rider, or like the people that deal with
or Blade,
magic
your
and
mythical
occult
sort of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's where you see
Scarlet Witch.
Pretty much, yeah. So and they've opened up that side of Marvel. It looks like they're going further with
basically
Werewolf by
the
Night.
magical fantasy side is what it is.
Pretty much, which is probably a bit offensive to Egyptian culture, but
it's a bit out of yes and no.
Yeah,
because they're gonna go you don't know if this is no one on the planet now can say that all this was real.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
You don't know, so it is sort of mythical in a way.
How? Well, it's like saying dragons exist.
That's right.
It's like you have a bunch of people back then swearing they've seen a dragon, or praying to dragons, or leaving, offerings for dragons.
It was just Godzilla the whole time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He just came to look out.
You heard it here first, guys. Godzilla's crossing over with the MCU. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. Oh wait, before we jump into that, we didn't do an IMDb rating.
I've got it up here.
Yeah.
First episode is sitting at still 8.2.
8.2 for the first episode.
8.2 for the first step. Yep.
So we've heard about the review bombs for this. Now, it's not the episode they're review bombing; it's the series they're review bombing.
That is 100% correctamundo.
Yeah, and they're doing that because they mentioned the Armenian genocide or something.
The overall show at the moment is sitting at 7.3, which makes no sense, because how can the show be at 7.3 but yet
the only episode,
there's only one episode and that's sitting at 8.2?
Because review bombing
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's man, I'm anyway.
You would think that would bring down the episode rating.
It should be. Right now, the episode rating and the series rating should be the exact same.
Yes, there should be no difference.
Anyway.
But it is what it is.
This is where we are. In my head, I loved this. I've got to sing it an 8. The only thing that's lost it for me is the visual effects.
I'm sitting at about a 6.5 to a 7 because I don't know what the bloody hell's going on. It's not that I don't know what's going on. It's just there's been certain things in the show that are not ticking my boxes that I have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the first episode we didn't get to see the action. It's I know there was action there, but I didn't get to see it.
The action we did see though, let's just jump back.
I don't want to see it from Steven's point of view. I don't care. I want to see it from Mark's point of view.
Well, what I'm hoping is that we get Mark's point of view of it later as well. That'd be really cool. But Moon Knight appearing here. Let's talk about that quickly because him dragging that Jacqueline there made me laugh. It actually made me laugh. I was like, brilliant.
That was so clown scary movie under the bed.
I loved
for
it.
me. That just
That was
get
fantastic.
over here.
Yeah. But I love
Oh,
the
you
fact
think
that
you're bad?
this jackal was pounding on that door trying to break in, then got in, was like, oh God, no. I have made a
big tough
mistake.
guy and it's game over.
Yeah.
And even then, we still didn't get to see the action.
No, we just got to see him finishing him off.
Yeah, it was like, I really thought when it all started to come out, I'm like, okay, we're going to get to see him just rip through this jackal. It's going to be awesome. It's like, oh, okay, no, we're not. Cool.
But then we do get the big Moon Knight reveal. It's done pretty well as well.
You're making me watch a show that's got no action that we get to see and crap CGI.
Yeah, look, I think that's going to change. I really do.
It's going to have to pick up. It has to pick up because...
Well, we've got Moon Knight
My
there
God.
now. We've seen Moon Knight. We've got a really good look at that costume, which I loved. The glowing white eyes. I'm a fan of. Thought it was really good.
See, at the moment, I don't know which show I'd put lower for first episode. It's either this or WandaVision for me. I can't tell which one I would go.
Oh wow, no, I've got this higher than WandaVision for a first step. Like,
I need my boxes ticked, mate.
Yeah.
We need to tick boxes.
you need some action.
I need action.
Yeah.
I want to see. I just want to see Moon Knight, or I want to see Mr. Knight just rip through people.
It's Moon Knight, you want to say?
That would be wicked.
Moon Knight's more brutal.
Does Mr. Knight fight, or is he just more
He's a bit of a talker.
suave?
Yeah, he's a bit of a
I'm going to talk you out of this.
Yeah,
You think you're bad, but I'm going to tell you how you're not bad.
yeah, and then I'm gonna go get Moon Knight.
And then Moon Knight's going to take over, and it's just
Yeah,
Arnold ripping through everyone.
I love that they've done the crescent on his chest is his weapon.
Yep.
You know, like the whole batarang thing.
Yeah, I was going to say we recently saw that, didn't we?
Yeah, I love it. But I love that it's just held there with the wrapping
Yeah.
that you know will just come off when he wants it.
Yeah, but you see, the thing with that is, you know that the more he pulls it off and uses it, that wrapping is no longer going to be tight. So it's just going to... Imagine if it just falls off.
Did you see how the suit went onto him?
He goes to grab it and he's just got to go, oh, wait, hang
It's
on,
always going to
I've
be
dropped
tight.
it.
He's essentially got those wrappings at his command here.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you did enjoy this, awesome. You're in my camp. If you're sitting with Seve, I mean, 6.5 isn't that bad.
No.
The acting, obviously, Oscar Isaac's pulled this up pretty well.
But we always knew he was gonna.
Yeah.
Like, name a movie where he's acted bad in. Even X-Men, he didn't act bad.
Yeah, his acting was amazing.
So I mean,
Sucker
there's
Punch. I
nothing
don't
you
like Sucker Punch, but he was awesome.
You just can't fault him.
No, he's fantastic, and that's why he was my pick for Wolverine for so long. And why I'm so excited to have him as Moon Knight. Anyway, next episode drops Wednesday. We'll be obviously reviewing that again. Hopefully, we're going to see more from Mark Spector's
I hope so.
point of view now that he's taken
I
over.
don't want another episode of Steven again and his bumbling buffoonery.
I mean,
I want to see Mark just ripping people apart with a gun. Because he's a Marine, so I just want to see the bang, 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 bang. Just give me some bang, bang.
Yeah. Well, he's a mercenary.
We need bang, bang.
Yeah, it should be good. All right, man. That's us. Cheers for joining us, guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.